はどうしたの？
So, it's been a couple years, but Dead or Alive is back with Dead or Alive 6. Honestly, this is a game I was really looking forward to. I've been a big fan of Dead or Alive pretty much my entire life. The first one I played was back on the original Xbox. Me and my uncle played Dead or Alive 3 all the time, just sparring with each other and just local play and playing through the arcade modes and stuff. And it was always a blast. And then eventually, when we got a little older, Dead or Alive 4 came out for the 360, and we played that and unlocked all the characters and just like went through that game. We went hard on Dead or Alive 4, and some of my best memories are playing Dead or Alive with my uncle. No, me and him don't really talk as much as we used to or hang out as much. I still kept up with the series, and I still play it to this day. It's a series that does mean a lot to me, and I'm proud to say that Dead or Alive 6 is good. It's out and it's good. It's just as good, if not, better than those other games. There are issues with it, and we're going to get into that, but overall, if you take one thing away from this review, is that this game is good, and as a Dead or Alive fan, I am overall satisfied with my purchase. So let's get into some of the nitty-gritty stuff. We'll talk about the game, and we'll put a big score on it. So first of all, let's talk about the obvious. So graphic-wise, this game does look a lot better than the other games, of course. Naturally, this is how it's gonna be. This is the first Dead or Alive game made for the Xbox One and PS4. So it does look very nice. Of course, it's not perfect. Resolution can be a little higher, and some of the textures, especially the hair textures, aren't that great. But overall, I mean, it's a fighting game. The performance is amazing, solid 60 frames per second without any drops, at least on PS4 anyways, and it does look good doing it, so I'm overall satisfied. A lot of the stages look really good as well, so minus like a couple, the overall presentation of this game is it's really nice, really nice. A lot of the character models, they'll get the character models will get like dirty or bruised when you're fighting them, and they'll bleed a little bit, like they'll have cuts and stuff, and it just overall, like, everything is presented really well. And when you like hit a really strong attack on them, they'll like parts of their like costume will rip off, or like if they have like a hair tie or something, that'll come undone and it'll change the way they look. And just little things like that, little details are always really cool. Always really cool to see. As far as gameplay goes, if you're familiar with Dead or Alive, that same awesome 3D movement gameplay, it's all here. Feels really nice. The hold system's as great as ever. There's some new additions as well, like the super meter, so when it's half full you can do a break hold, basically a combo breaker, or you can do with the full bar, you can basically do like a super like a super move, which is definitely a cool addition. Makes the gameplay a little different, and along with some additions like a dedicated sidestep button. The game is different enough to warrant a new number, but still has that familiar Dead or Alive feel to it. And I think the gameplay is definitely the strongest part of this game. The game is just a ton of fun to play, just a blast to play. I couldn't get enough during my time with it. As far as sound and stuff goes, of course, the sound effects themselves, real meaty, punching and everything, punching, kicking, and doing all the different moves, all sound really nice. Everything flows together with the animations and the sound and everything, just really, really nice. But that's not even the end of it. The soundtrack, the music, oh my gosh. It's not all the stage songs are that great. There's a lot of them that are really good, but some of them could be a little better. But I will say the menu theme and a lot of the original songs for this game are just so good. Face is the name of the menu theme, and it is one of my favorite menu themes of all time. Definitely the best Dead or Alive menu theme, but one of my favorites of all time. I actually, downloaded the song, broke it down, listened to it, and forced myself to learn how to play it on guitar, just because how great that song is, and I truly do love it. The music in this game, soundtrack, 10 out of 10 soundtrack. It's really nice, and one of my favorite aspects of the game, oddly enough. But yeah, let's move on to the next piece of it. the costumes and everything, like the unlockables, the story content, and all the single-player stuff. There's quite a bit to unpack here, really. A lot of the single-player stuff takes place around the story mode and the Dead or Alive quest mode. So, story mode is pretty short, 3 or 4 hours long, short, sweet, simple, to the point. It's not Shakespeare, it's not Mortal Kombat or Injustice level good or anything, but it's a fun time waster, and if you've been following along with the story of Dead or Alive, it is cool to see it continue and see all your characters that you know and love come back and do more things in another tournament. So it's still as goofy as ever, still lots of fan service, still lots of clones and magic and ninjas, and it's honestly it's pretty great. But yeah, that's the story mode. Really nothing special, but it's a fun time waster if you have the 3 hours to put into it. As for the quest mode, that's the footage you're seeing right now. It's a series of different fights with different characters that have different parameters, as you see on screen here. I get 1 star for clearing the quest, a 2nd star for inflicting 40 damage in a single combo, and another star for executing 3 counters. Now, if I get all 3 of those, which I do, but if I get all 3 of those stars, then I unlock costume parts. Now, that's kind of where the game starts to fall apart, and where one of its biggest flaws starts to rear its head. So, costume parts are random, completely random. So, you'll earn a set amount, and then you'll randomly unlock, progress towards a costume, just a random costume in the game. I think that randomness really hurts the game. Before, in other Dead or Alive games, you'd get a costume for doing arcade mode or doing time attack or survival. You'd get costumes from story mode, you'd get costumes from playing online and stuff. Like, there was lots of different ways to get costumes, and you can still technically earn costume parts, in any, game mode in the game, but the best way is, of course, just the quest mode. You just get the most parts, you get the most, the most, it's the most bang for your buck, the most parts quickest. But it does suck that it's so random. I mean, I can unlock just random costumes for characters I don't even play, and there's no way to get the costume that I want for the characters that I play. It's very frustrating. And if, say you get, say there's a 200 costume part required costume, right? It costs 200 parts to earn, and you do a mission that gives you 500 parts. Then whatever excess amount of parts you get just disappear. They go away, and you don't get them. I think a pretty easy way to fix this, well, first of all, one way could be to make so any excess parts you get go towards another costume, just another costume at random. But I think the best way to do it would be to just make costume parts just a currency, a spendable currency that you can, earn them and then spend them in the shop like you would your coins and unlock the costumes that way. I think it would just eliminate the random aspect and let you, grind out costumes for characters you actually want costumes for instead of having to rely on RNG for it. I don't think RNG is ever fun when it comes to that kind of stuff, so that'd be an easy fix, but, we'll see what they decide to do with it. It kind of sucks that it is this way, especially with the costume DLC practices that Dead or Alive's had in the past and is continuing to have. I mean, Dead or Alive 5 had just like over $1,000 worth of DLC content with just costumes, and looks like this game is going in the same direction. The Season Pass 1, as they call it, is $93, and it just comes with just 60 costumes. It's just all costume DLC. And it's looks like they're gonna go down that same direction. The costumes in the game, though, are good. I like pretty much every costume, available. A lot of the default costumes are good, but all the unlockable costumes are really, really nice. And it is cool. Like, we have the most variety of costumes, unlockable of any Dead or Alive game, at least at launch, anyways. It just sucks that they're unlocked so randomly. I just don't like that at all. But yeah, the costumes and everything, they're all fine. Let's move on to the online mode. So this is another kind of flaw with the game. So the online play, first of all, it is really smooth, though. I gotta commend them for that. It plays smooth, not a lot of hiccups and issues. I played definitely over 100 matches, and only really had like 1 or 2 bad laggy matches, but all of them, they play really good, and at its best, at online's best, it does feel like you're just playing local play. There doesn't seem to be any input latency or any really noticeable juddering. It's really smooth, and it's a really enjoyable experience, but there is only ranked matches right now. It's the only online mode you can play, so if you want to play casual matches or online lobbies with your friends, there's just no option to do that right now, and I know they're patching it, they're going to add that later, but it does really sting not having that in the game right now. You know how bad I want to just hop on and play with a friend, and I just can't do it. I physically, there's no way to do that at all, and it just really sucks. The online itself, though, overall, it is smooth, it is good, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, they'll hopefully add more content in later, and you know, really improve that experience. The same can be said with a lot of other areas of the game. Of course, arcade mode is back, time attack is back, survival is back. Arcade mode doesn't have character-specific endings anymore, which does seem really weird for a Dead or Alive game not to have those. It just definitely odd. And the character roster itself also isn't as great. I mean, the characters themselves, like, it's all the classic Dead or Alive staple characters and a couple new ones even, and the new ones are great. I really like Diego, and I really like Nico. Nico's a ton of fun. But, you know, I mean, I just kind of was expecting more, you know? There's a lot of characters that are straight up missing from past games, like Leon, Genfu, for example, and then characters from last game that, like like Rachel, for example, or Alpha 152, or even you know, the guest characters from Virtual Fighter, like Akira and everybody like that. They're not here, and you know, maybe they'll be DLC again or whatever, but it just, you know, it would be nice to have them back. Dead or Alive's had a couple cool guest characters throughout the years, and this game doesn't have any. I think it could use something like that, just a little bit of oomph. Because right now there's just the roster's not super great. It does have all the staples. It has my main, of course, so I'm happy, but the roster could be great. The stages could also be better. There's a lot of like iconic Dead or Alive stages that are just missing. A couple cool returning ones. And some of the new ones are all really nice. They're really cool looking and everything, but, you know, I think the stage selection could just be a little better as well. But aside from that, everything else, the game is still just a ton of fun to play. And as a huge Dead or Alive fan growing up, man, I gotta say, like, this game is definitely scratching that Dead or Alive itch. And the changes they made to the gameplay, I can't understate it here. The game still feels like Dead or Alive, but the new changes and things that they added really does elevate it. And I do think that gameplay-wise, absolutely, this is the best Dead or Alive. And if you like Dead or Alive, you will like this game. As for newcomers, I do think that this is a very accessible game for newcomers. I think people who've never played a fighting game before, or people who've never played Dead or Alive before, can jump into this game and learn it really well. I mean, the tutorial of this game is one of the best gaming tutorials I've ever seen. Definitely like one of the best fighting game tutorials of all time. It really gives you all the tools you need to succeed in the game, and it's cool seeing a fighting game really break itself down and explain itself well to newcomers. You know, I think there's a lot of aspects of this game that really lend it well to a newcomer. You know, the combos are short and sweet, and making your own combos on the fly, you know, it is, you know, it's very simple to do. You know, it's not, you know, not asking too much of you, and you know, you might not be doing the most optimal damage or anything, but even if you're doing short, you know, 5-hit combos and, you know, stringing together a couple different things, you are still getting really solid damage. So it's not like you have to, you know, be a master of everything and master all these, you know, 40-hit combos just to be competitive. There are shorter combos and easier just button strings, and honestly, you know, any newcomer absolutely could get into this game, and I think that's one of its biggest strengths right now. It's just it's very accessible. Series always has been. Animations, everything are still just so fluid, and it feels really nice to play. Like, just actually getting into the game feels good. But you know, we talked a bit about this game. Overall, I've given you my opinion on it. I'm very happy with it, but I do have to put a big number on it, and there are issues with this game that I just can't ignore when coming up with my score. You know, if a lot of these things are fixed or improved, the score, you know, you could give it a little bit higher score, but as it stands right now, I think the only fair score I can give it is a 7 out of 10. You know, if they fix the fix the issues with the costumes, maybe add in a couple more things, and like tag team modes missing, that needs to come back. Just doing little things like that. If they of course when they add in lobbies and casual play and stuff like that, I'll absolutely recommend this game, and it might even get bumped up to an 8, but as it stands right now, launch build is how I have to review it, and 7 out of 10 is what I've kind of landed on. I just can't really justify paying full price for this game right now. When they add stuff in, absolutely, or if you find it on sale, absolutely, but as it stands now, I think it's probably smarter to wait on this game for a bit. There's just other games out that offer some other things, and although the gameplay of this game is great, I just think it's still worthwhile to wait just a little bit and see. But that's pretty much all from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, this more off the cuff review of Dead or Alive 6. I do still plan on playing it a bunch. I really enjoyed my time so far. I did get the platinum for this game, as you saw right in the intro, and it's a ton of fun. It really is just a ton of fun, and I really needed a game like this just to have some fun in. It might not be my go-to fighting game, but it is absolutely one of my favorites, and it is a worthy successor, of the Dead or Alive name. I'm happy with it, really, and I just can't wait to see what they do next. I mean, I'm not gonna buy like a season pass or anything crazy, but I'll probably buy some characters and maybe a costume or two for INA. But anyways, that's it from me. I can't believe I actually got a video ready at a pretty decent amount of time. This game only came out like 5 days ago, and I already have a review up. What is this nonsense? But I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know if you guys enjoyed, and stay classy. See ya.